Go live.
Welcome to Faith, Fiction, and Folklore.
Whoops. You go first, Cody.
I'm swell, buddy. How are you? Oh, good.
I'm all right. I'm a little sick under the weather, but I'm all right.
Yeah.
Well, we're on mute. I can
We're
hear
on
you
mute?
just fine.
No kidding. You disappeared, buddy. We lost you.
Yeah, we can't. Nothing. You. Oh, yeah. He.
Yep.
Yeah. Yeah, you were muted on the live stream.
All right.
Oh no.
So I guess Gary's muted or something. We can hear him, but I guess the live stream can't.
Well, we can hear him through the Zoom meeting, but not the YouTube video.
Thanks. Sorry, folks, about the hang up.
Yeah.
We'll have the dude in here soon.
We'll have it fixed before long, or long before. No, I just checked. Let me check again. Give me a check. Yeah. We'll have it fixed before long, or long before.
Okay. Yeah, Gary's definitely muted.
I'm not picking up any of your audio, Gary.
Okay. That's a very heartfelt apology, too. I was very sad. That is immensely annoying. Audio input capture. One. Okay. Device.
Hey, no, Gary, your sound's working.
Right.
Something happened.
Yeah, I fixed it on OBS, so I should be good now, right?
Yep, you're good.
All right, sweet. So, okay. Well, that was awkward and horrid and depressing.
It's alright. Nobody watches this shit.
Because we're so professional anyway. So, okay. Well, while I'm working on that,
Ooh.
Yeah, it's loud.
Ooh.
It's too loud. I had to turn it down. I noticed. So, all right. Ooh. I caught it. Don't judge me. Okay, audio didn't capture one. Okay, so that should be good. All right. So, since that was awful, welcome to Faith, Fiction, and Folklore, as we like to call it the Try-F podcast. This is not going great tonight, where we try not to F the podcast up. And today, I wanted to start off with an apology to Impact Christian Ministries, because I called them a liar last week when I was ranting about their video. And while I do consider Orwellian doublethink and bait and switches to be deceptive tactics, They might not have done it on purpose, so I shouldn't have called them a liar. So, my apologies goes out to Impact Christian Ministries, unless I'm getting their name wrong, in which case I'm going to have to apologize about saying their YouTube channel name wrong. But I've got so many windows up, I can't find them right now. So, maybe, is this it? It is it.
Yeah.
Okay, Impact Video Ministries. My bad. Impact Video Ministries. I'm sorry. I called you a liar, and I apologize. You might just be wrong. You have my sincerest apologies. Okay, so now that that's been done, what's on the docket tonight? Or rather, what should we say first? Because Jeremiah was supposed to be here. He could not make it, and so we've pushed it back another week. And so...
Now we're debating on what else to talk about.
yeah, it was very last minute, so we really don't have a plan. That's the bottom line. And so I had some falling action, if you will, stories that I was going to cover. And that was... I don't think they're going to justify the whole show, so we got some ghost videos to react to and just whatever we can to get through the next 2 hours. But it was... the thing is, though, to our credit, it was a busy week in the world of YouTube. So, first of all, the ongoing saga of Wes Huff and Billy Carson continues. And so...
Oh, they're
Wait,
still
hold on.
arguing?
huh?
Hold on.
What's up?
Your mic is a different mic on the video itself. So we're hearing you plain as day, but
Yes.
on the live, they're hearing like your computer mic or something.
Okay. Well, it should be my regular mic.
That's weird.
Okay, well, what about now? Can you hear me now?
It's like
Why do you say that, Trevor?
it's like 10 seconds behind.
I am so...
I just played it and I don't think it is.
yeah, I think it's fine. I'll keep...
That's better. Okay, it's better.
it's better now? It's better
Yeah,
now? Okay.
That was weird. Yeah,
Okay, so we're good now, though, right?
I hope so.
Yeah, it's fine.
Good night. Okay. Well, that's all right, though. We got through it. Okay, so as I was saying, the Wes Huff and Billy Carson drama continues, but there's been a new contender enter the ring to try to do to Wes Huff what Wes Huff did to Billy Carson. And so there was a charming young lad, Alex O'Connor, who I guess you're aware of him, Cody.
No.
No, okay, yeah, well, he's basically part of the angry atheist camp. Well, but he's, like, much less angry than the atheists I'm used to seeing. He's actually quite level-headed compared to what I'm usually seeing. So, I can actually tolerate listening to him, or at least I've been able to so far. As far as atheists go, he's been one of the least snarky I've seen. So, anyway, so he wanted to refute Wes Huff, and, he had some arguments and stuff, so I wanted to play what he said and get you guys' thoughts and see if your thoughts are the same.
Joe Rogan to talk about the Bible, and so, of course, I had to make a response. We begin with a claim about the Book of Isaiah. For a long time, our earliest copy of the Book of Isaiah dated to the Middle Ages,
Isaiah.
so it was difficult to know if it had been accurately
right?
preserved or changed over the thousands of years since it was written. But then we discovered the Dead Sea Scrolls, a set of ancient manuscripts found in Qumran dating to around 2,000 years ago. And amazingly, within them, we found a complete copy of the Book of Isaiah, 1,000 years older than the oldest one that we had until then. Take a listen.
So when you say the Book of Isaiah is intact, how similar is it to the Book of Isaiah that's in the Bible?
So that one is fascinating. So this isn't true for all of the Dead Sea Scrolls, but when we discovered the Great Isaiah Scroll, previous to that, the earliest copy of Isaiah that we had was in the Masoretic text, which is in the Middle Ages.
Whoa.
Yeah, so it was literally 1,000 years. We literally pushed back our understanding of Isaiah 1,000 years. And the thing that really shocked scholars, like I said, this isn't true for all of the Dead Sea Scrolls, but one of the things that shocked them about Isaiah was that it was word for word identical to the Masoretic text.
Word for word.
Word for word.
Spend $500 and get
Wow,
$15
an
TV.
ad.
Hey, do you think TV ads
We're
are
adding.
complicated and expensive?
Yeah.
Wow, that would be amazing.
Wow.
If it were true. In fact, the Dead Sea version of the Isaiah scroll is not quite identical to the Masoretic text. That is the one that we know from the
it's not?
Bible. Can you guess how many textual
Yeah,
variants
hang on a
there
minute.
are
This is
between
where
the
it
two?
gets dodgy.
Take a guess. 1 that Wes forgot about? 10? 100? Try more than 2,600. Yeah. Now, most of these variants are small. They're differences in spelling, for example. But some of them are more significant. For instance, in Isaiah chapter 2, the end of verse 9 and all of verse 10 are simply missing from the Dead Sea version. They're just not there, which tells us that they were a later addition. Here are some words from the Digital Dead Sea Scrolls project by the Israel Museum, which houses the Isaiah scroll. The text of the Great Isaiah scroll generally confirms the Masoretic or traditional version codified in medieval codices, all 66 chapters of the Hebrew version in the same conventional order. At the same time, however, the 2,000-year-old scroll contains alternative spellings, scribal errors, corrections, and most fundamentally, many variant readings. Strictly
Pause it.
speaking, the number of textual variants
Pause
is
it.
well over 20.
Yes.
Jen's back, so say hi to Jen.
Hi, Jen.
What's up, Jim?
Yeah, and they like the story of Gilgamesh.
They like the story of Gilgamesh? Sweet.
Yeah, that's a cool story.
Okay.
All right.
2,600, ranging from a single letter, sometimes one or more words, to complete variant verse or verses. Well over 2,600. Again, many of these variants are minor, but Wes Huff told Joe Rogan that the scroll is word for word identical with the Masoretic text,
It was word for word identical to the Masoretic text.
Word for word.
Word for word.
which is simply not true. Okay, moving on to the New Testament.
Was it the book of...
Okay, so I want to focus on the Isaiah thing. How many of you guys grew up hearing the Isaiah comment that it was word for word identical? I grew up with that story. I've used that story on Atheist myself. So it's kind of hard for me to be mad at this guy because, yeah, it was everywhere when I was a kid.
Yeah.
Like, did you guys hear it?
No.
No? Okay.
No, I didn't hear that story until I read it myself, like a month ago.
I was saturated in it. And, like, in fact, not too long ago, Eric Metaxas came out with a book. I think he says the same thing. So it's I feel a little bad for him because I've heard that and I've read it before and everything like that. Now, there are refutations to this, and that brings us to our next contender because there were other people defending Wes Huff, and this has basically caused a dog pile. So Wes Huff could be... yeah, so this is Gavin Ortland, and he refutes Alex's claim here, or tries to refute it. And I want to see what you guys think.
Alex O'Connor argued that Wes Huff got the Bible wrong in his interview with Joe Rogan. I'd like to address 5 points in an effort to give some defense to
Hey, Gary.
Wes Huff.
Hang on.
First, the Dead Sea Scrolls.
Yeah.
Are you sharing with the Zoom as well?
Am I sharing with Zoom?
The video?
As far as I know. I mean, it should be share
Okay.
screen, right?
Yeah, it's playing.
It's playing? Okay.
So what's going on? Is somebody...
No, I'm just not seeing the video. I'm only seeing it on the YouTube channel.
Oh,
Oh, yeah.
yeah.
Me too.
You're only seeing it on the YouTube channel.
Yeah, it's not on the Zoom meeting. That's what I was asking. It's like, did I
Are you
change my
sure?
settings?
Because I have it share screened.
Let's listen to how Wes put it and
I
then
may
hear
have-
Alex's response.
How similar is it to the book of Isaiah
Yeah,
that's
it's
in the
played.
Bible?
I can hear it, but I can't see it.
You can't... So is my share screen not working?
Well, I can hear it just fine, and you can't see it.
Really? But you can see it on YouTube, right?
See, everything on YouTube is working fine.
Well, how in the world is the share screen on, but you guys can't see the internet?
Well, we had this problem before.
Huh? Because it says it's sharing the screen that's playing it on my computer.
Let's see.
This might be the most technically glitched up show we've ever had, boys and girls.
Yeah, it's pretty bad.
Yeah, this is kind of nuts.
So that one is fascinating.
I just heard something.
No, that was me. That was me. Let me try to move. Got all manner of craziness happening right now. So, all right, I'm going to keep playing. Trevor, you let me know if you get it
just
figured out.
Just play it. Sorry.
So this isn't true for all of the Dead Sea Scrolls, but when we discovered the Great Isaiah Scroll, previous to that, the earliest copy of Isaiah that we had was in the Masoretic text, which is in the Middle Ages.
Whoa.
Yeah, so it was literally 1,000 years. We literally pushed back our understanding of Isaiah 1,000 years. And the thing that really shocked scholars, like I said, this isn't true for all of the Dead Sea Scrolls, but one of the things that shocked them about Isaiah was that it was word for word identical to the Masoretic text.
Word for word.
Word for word.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow, that would be amazing if it were true. In fact, the Dead Sea version.
No,
of
this
the
is
Isaiah
still
Scroll
Gavin
wasn't
Ortland. He's
quite
just
identical
he's just
to the
playing
Masoretic text. That is the one we
Alex's
know
video
from the
again.
Bible. Can you guess how many textual variants there are between the two? Take a guess. 1 that Wes forgot about? 10? 100? Try more than 2,600.
I don't know.
But it
This
needs to be
guy's
emphasized that the majority.
What?
He seems kind of. This guy seems a little ridiculous to me.
He might be.
This-
I am gonna defend him and say he's mild compared to most of the atheists I've heard. But yes, he is. What do you got behind you, Cody? Just as an aside.
Huh?
What? Move your head.
Oh, it's a wolf.
That is awesome.
Ooh.
I just noticed that. I'm like, that is really cool. So
Yeah.
anyway, sorry. Moving on. I just wanted to comment on that.
I like
These
that.
discrepancies are about tiny issues like spelling, not even necessarily errors of spelling, just differences. One scholar notes that these variations are mostly occasioned by considerations of orthography. Orthography is the conventional spelling system of a particular language, kind of like how Americans might
it's just like
use
spelling between
this
thousands of
spelling
years,
color,
you know?
Yeah.
COLOR, but the
That's one thing that makes me mad about this textual scholarship debate is the word differences, variants, errors. It's all interchangeable, you know? And it's like this giant game of semantics. And so it's actually really almost impossible to try to figure out what the exact
Right,
scope of the
yeah.
problem actually
That's what it
is.
seems like.
Because, yeah, obviously there's going to be changes in the spelling of words at the same time, but you call that a variant, it implies that somebody monkeyed with the text when that's not what's happening. You know, and it's just word games.
Yeah.
And so a variant could be a couple verses missing from a scripture. It could be the difference in how you spell color, whether it's O-R or O-U-R at the end of the word. I mean, but they're not going to tell you what's what and how much is of what. I mean, obviously, you can't have 2,600 variants meaning 2,600 missing verses because then there wouldn't be a book. So it's like, yeah, it's really frustrating.
That's dumb.
Yeah.
British people weirdly put a U in that word. The Great Isaiah Scroll, it's under discussion here, contains spellings that reflect its own historical context. So that wouldn't affect the word-for-word claim that Wes made. Word for word doesn't necessarily mean word for identically spelled word. So the 2,600 figure here is potentially very misleading for onlookers. Now, to his credit, Alex acknowledges that most of these variations are very small.
Now, most
like
of these
little
variants
letters like
are small. There are
er.
differences in
Sorry.
spelling, for example. But some of them are.
What were we going to say?
It's like little differences, like the end of the word being or
Yeah.
you know, like just stupid little stuff.
Yeah, exactly. Your cat
Like,
is
you
very
know,
upset.
Like you're never gonna see that.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, no, I agree.
Yeah. He wants- I'm gonna let him out.
Oh, we're getting lagged too. Trevor, why are all the gremlins in the wires tonight? Is it the moon?
Did we forget to pray over the podcast? That might do it.
Yeah, that'll be good. That would be good.
What?
He's gonna. pray over the podcast because the gremlins are on the attack. Like you're lagging, and then he's not hearing the video, and then my mic randomly dies. It's all sorts of craziness.
No, I figured out the video problem.
You do that inside your head.
Well,
You're-
what was
You're sharing it to Zoom Workplace, which is right.
Zoom Workplace? I don't know. I just clicked share, and it shared it somewhere.
Yeah, it's a separate window.
Oh, okay. Well,
So
Cody, you could see it, right?
I can see what the video.
Yeah. So he can see it, and I think we're all good, man. So, all right, are we ready to move on? Yes, no, maybe so. Okay.
Are more significant. For instance, in Isaiah chapter 2, the end of verse 9 and all of verse 10 are simply missing from the Dead Sea version. They're just not there.
He proceeds to quote from the digital Dead Sea Scrolls project to buttress this point, and he's correct about the scroll in question. However, there are multiple scrolls of Isaiah found among the Dead Sea Scrolls in these different caves at Qumran. And one scroll is nearly complete, that's the Great Isaiah Scroll, but there's many other fragmentary texts. The same website that Alex quotes from to get the 2,600 figure also notes around 20 additional copies of the book of Isaiah were found there. And in other manuscripts, that part of Isaiah 2:9 and Isaiah 2:10 are included. And that again is noted from the same website that Alex quoted from. Now, if I heard him correctly, Wes seemed to acknowledge that not all of the Dead Sea Scrolls have the same degree of accuracy. So perhaps he was talking about the overall information yielded from the Dead Sea Scrolls as a collection of texts, rather than just one manuscript among them, because he's certainly aware of the diversity of manuscripts that we have.
It's kind of tricky.
Guy with the hair. The angry little guy with the hair is like just like super. He's like picking problems out of nowhere, like you know.
Yeah, it's like, oh, it wasn't
Making
word
a
for
mountain out of a
word.
molehill, I guess.
Yeah, I mean, I kind of get it. Like, I wish he hadn't used the term word for word if it wasn't word for word. But yeah, we obviously know that the text is accurate based on the consensus of the scrolls that were found. You can piecemeal everything that was together, because even if there is a mistake in a text, no two texts are going to have the same kinds of mistakes unless you've got some organized effort to like change it or whatever. But
I appreciate you so much.
But yeah. So I feel like this is kind of one of the problems though with, well, I shouldn't say it that way. Basically, this is why scholars should use consensus over like age or something like that. Like you take the collection of manuscripts, and if you piecemeal everything together in instances where there's an error, you can usually figure out what was supposed to be said. You know? So yeah, they had multiple copies, they compared the copies, and we know what the book says, and it says the same thing that it's always said. That's it. So anyway, those were the two main points. Do you guys want to go on, or do you want to move on to something else? Okay.
Because the Dead Sea Scrolls they're like a library that we refer to. So it's approximately 970 documents, but it's distributed out between 10,000 and 11,000 fragments. So there's a lot going on there, right?
So I'm not 100% sure what Wes meant by word for word. I'll leave that for him to clarify, and I've not reached out to him to ask what he meant because I imagine he is fairly inundated these days. And I don't have enough expertise in this area to even have a real fine-tuned opinion of how close exactly is the Isaiah of the Dead Sea Scrolls and of the Masoretic text.
I guess
But
he's
the
saying the
general
same thing-
point
the
that
same thing
Wes
that we
was
are, huh?
making seems totally...
Yeah, he's saying the same thing we are. Oh, what'd I do? What'd I do?
You hit the add button.
Wes Huff got
Missing from the Dead Sea version. They're just...
credit. Alex acknowledges that
Hang on
most
a
of
minute.
these variations are very small.
Now, most of these...
So perhaps he was talking about the overall information yielded from the Dead Sea Scrolls as a collection of texts, rather
Which we just discussed. All right, let's see. Let's move on a little bit more.
and 11,000 fragments. So there's a lot going on there, right?
So I'm not 100% sure what Wes meant by word for word. I'll leave that for him to clarify, and I've not reached out to him to ask what he meant because I imagine he is fairly inundated these days. And I don't have enough expertise in this area to even have a real fine-tuned opinion of how close exactly is the Isaiah of the Dead Sea Scrolls and of the Masoretic text. But the general point that Wes was making seems totally correct here. The discovery of the Dead Sea Scrolls was a remarkable confirmation that the Hebrew text that we have had all along goes back into deep antiquity. This point is not unique to Wes Huff. It's widely recognized. My favorite commentary on Isaiah that I use whenever I preach from this book notes the overwhelming identity between these two as an astonishing tribute to careful copying. Here's how another scholar puts it. Even though the two copies of Isaiah found in Qumran Cave 1 near the Dead Sea in 1947 were 1,000 years earlier than the oldest dated manuscript previously known, AD 980, they proved to be word-for-word identical with our standard Hebrew Bible in more than 95% of the text. But in one manuscript, the preserved text is almost letter for letter with the Leningrad manuscript. And then it notes that this 5% variation is mainly variations in spelling or obvious slips of the pen or that kind of thing. Now, one thing...
So, let me pose a question, just as a hypothetical to, get us kill a little more time since we spent... Like, we're going for 30 minutes apiece here, but 10 minutes have been like, what's wrong? Something's wrong? What? So, Let me pose a question. Does the Bible, in you guys' opinion, need to be word for word exact in order to be morally authoritative? That is to say, that we can trust it to tell us what's right and wrong? No. Why or why not, Mr. Cody?
Because I think the point of the Bible is to garner a behavior from the examples set forth in the book given to you by Jesus.
Okay.
So it's to learn a behavior. That's the most important thing, I think. And to understand the law and the importance of the Gospels.
Okay. Trevor, what do you think?
Quick rundown on the question again.
Does the Bible need to be
Does the Bible-
perfectly preserved, word for word, or even letter to letter, in order to be morally authoritative? That is to say, we can use it to tell us what to do, like to let us know what's right and wrong.
No, because God wrote the morals on your heart.
Okay. I do not know what I think. I am still wrestling with this question myself. I'm in the middle of the textual criticism study, and there's a lot of fights on preservation and what that means and how far do you take preservation, and does preservation exist within the current English language, or is it just in the Greek manuscripts and the Hebrew? Like, it's a whole thing, and I'm still trying to figure it out. So I was just curious to see what you guys thought. So I guess I'll just maintain the I don't know for myself.
What's
You don't know.
Huh?
Preservation?
Yeah, like it's got to be, like there's a scripture, and I'm going to butcher it, please forgive me, but neither a jot nor a tittle of the law shall pass before all things come to pass. Like Jesus says this in one of the Gospels. But there's a little bit of debate about what that means. Like, does he mean the law as in like the law of Moses, and since he's coming to complete the law of Moses, that's what he's talking about? Is he talking about the entirety of the Bible and that everything is going to exist perfectly within the original languages? Does he mean that there's going to be what's, I guess you would call, providential preservation? That is to say that the meaning or maybe even the word-for-word translation is going to exist within a particular language throughout time, like providence is going to protect the manuscripts as they're transmitted down through the ages. Like, there's all these different conversations about what it means. And there has to be some clear distinction. I think there has to be preservation of a kind, because obviously when God says thou shalt not kill, you need to know some scribe didn't add the word not. But, beyond that, I mean, like, so you got to know that it's consistent, which I think, what we're watching confirms that it's consistent. But how far do you take preservation and exactly what preservation means? I don't know. So that's part of the whole textual criticism debate. And that's kind of what I'm in the middle of before I started prepping for the date. That was what I was in the middle of, I should say. Now, so it's an interesting question. I will say I'm very much in the Textus Receptus camp as of right now, but that's about all I could say. So,
what's the Textus Receptus?
Well, it's basically the Greek manuscripts were transmitted, or some of the Greek manuscripts were transmitted by Erasmus. And that's what Martin Luther used, and the Textus Receptus was used to create the King James. So there is debate about whether we should lean on exclusively the Byzantine manuscripts, or should we lean on the Alexandrian textual line? Should we try to rely on both? It's a huge, huge conversation. Because
have you looked into the Byzantine Empire?
I'm fascinated by it. I mean, I've looked into it a little, but not.
Dude, it's crazy. Like they have there's stories about they have like the king had like metal lions on the sides of his throne, and they like shot steam out of their mouths.
Dude,
like it was a whole civilization with like steam power, like crazy, dude.
It's. I've been impressed by it because it's like, as far as I can tell, it's like the longest lasting civilization out there. Like something like, I think they got past a millennia, as far as like in terms of their existence. Like it is by far the most impressive kingdom that's ever existed. But
I think the theory is like the Great Wall of China was their border, right?
No. Byzantine, it was the western half of the Roman Empire. And so, you had Rome, and then Rome fell sometime around 400 AD. Greg's going to kill me. I can't get these dates right. But it's somewhere in the 400s AD, Rome falls, but Byzantine survives. And the Byzantines, they kind of just persisted until, I can't remember exactly when. I want to say it was sometime in like either the 13th or the 14th century is when they finally fell. I could be wrong about that. Somebody Google it. But
I think I heard that
what are we doing?
I think they probably blocked Attila the Hun into China with the Great Wall of China, because he was devastating.
Yeah, Attila the Hun. Yeah, he was a big deal. But
so I wonder if they locked him in with the Great Wall of China kind of deal.
Maybe.
Because it's Roman architecture, the Great Wall of China, isn't it?
I don't know.
Like if you look at it. I could be wrong, but that's what I've heard, I think.
Yeah, I couldn't tell you. Trevor, could you look up the fall of Constantinople? Because that's when the Byzantine Empire, like, officially fell.
Yeah, there's all this history that's just, like, not taught.
Mm-hmm.
What am I looking at? The what?
Fall of Constantinople.
Oh. Fall of Constantine.
Constantinople.
Constantinople. N-O-P-L or B-L?
I have no clue. Either one will get you there.
That's what she said.
P-L-E.
Are you cool with Wikipedia?
Yeah, I just want the date, because that's from what I understand.
Oh, the date.
Yeah, I just want the date of what year it fell, because that's, from what I understand, marked the end of the Byzantine Empire.
1453, maybe?
1453?
The Siege of Constantinople.
That's the one.
1453.
Yep. Siege of Constantinople, 1453. Yep. So they lasted a long, long time. And essentially, from what I understand, when Constantinople fell, a lot of the priests in that area escaped with the Greek manuscripts. And the fact that, the guys in Europe had access to Greek manuscripts because of the fall of Constantinople, that helped. I think, if I'm remembering what I've read so far, I've read a lot, that helped kick off the Protestant Reformation. But anyway, that's a whole I'm still in the middle of all that.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's I will say this, I don't like the Alexandrian line. I'm pretty confident that Sciaticus is a forgery. I feel pretty confident saying that, given what I've looked at so far. And there's a difference between scattershot errors in the Bible. You know what I mean? Like spelling differences and priests, skipping words and that kind of thing. There's a difference between that and like attempted coordinated changes in the text. And I feel like the Alexandrian line has a degree of coordination that the Byzantine line doesn't really have. And I think the King James Onlyist guys have I feel like they've done a pretty good job making that case. So I'm very suspicious of the Alexandrian text, which that means, the NIV is suspicious, the ESV is suspicious. Like a lot of the modern translations that we have are incredibly suspect. And I know there's other books based on the Greek out there besides the King James, but I don't know what they are. But they are, like, available from what I understand. But, I mean, where I'm at, I feel like we should be using the Greek manuscripts, possibly the Western and Caesarean ones, but, there's some cross-pollination of those two, I think. Anyway, that's a whole other conversation. I will talk about this more. I plan on doing, like, a whole thing on it when I'm done researching.
There are over 5,700 extant manuscripts of the Greek New Testament.
Right.
Dang.
Yeah.
So we could have 5,700 different videos on the extant manuscripts.
We're going to be busy for a while. No, but this is just my point. Guess how many Alexandrian sources we got? Okay, so we got 5,000 plus extant Greek manuscripts. How many Alexandrian? You want to take gander?
Oh.
6 or 33.
43 is one number I've heard. It's somewhere between 43 and 200, but we've got 2 primary manuscripts that they use and a bunch of papyri pieces, like papyri writings. So 200, let's be nice and say 200 compared to 5,000. But all the modern ones are going by the Alexandrian line because the Alexandrian line is older. And I do kind of like this point by the King James Onlyist guys. I think it's kind of a funny point. They're basically like, the only thing you can prove by the age of a manuscript is that nobody read it, which I think is hilarious. So, anyway, yeah, because if you think about it, if the manuscript is good, it's going to get read, and if it continues to be read, it's going to fall apart, and you're not going to have it anymore. Yeah. I'm like, that's a good point. But the Sinaiticus conversation is just all sorts of, in my opinion, quite fascinating. I think it's clearly a fake. Vaticanus is a little harder. I don't know if they've made a good case of that one yet, but I will get to that conversation eventually. But I've got to return to it after we're done with this debate with Jeremiah. So anyway, so that's a little bit of a aside. Do we want to keep watching this, or do you think we're done for now on this topic?
We're done with this.
All right. So, who wants to lead us out?
Thanks for hanging out. We're gonna break, and if you don't want to see these awkward transitions, then you can subscribe and share and do all that stuff that helps us out.
Sweet. Guys, thank you so much for watching. We'll see you next time.
Thank you.
All right. So, what did I say we were going to talk about next? JFK. Trump released the assassination of.
That's right.
Yeah, we were going to talk about that because I can't think of anything that qualifies in the realm of folklore more than the government killing people.
Yeah.
So let's see if I can find. I have so much stuff pulled up. It's embarrassing. All right, I got to try to remember. Now, don't do this to me. There we go. So let's start with showing Trump signing the executive order.
Sign language.
No, that wasn't even close to what I said. Anyway, here we go.
Oh. Wait, hold on.
What?
Jen went to wash her hands. She'll be right back.
Okay. Bye, Jen.
Well, she'll be right back.
Okay.
Ordering the declassification of files relating to the assassinations of President John F. Kennedy, Senator Robert F. Kennedy, and the Reverend Dr. Martin Luther King Jr.
That's a big one, huh? A lot of people are waiting for this for years, for decades. And everything will be revealed. Okay? Give that to RFK Jr.
Yes, sir.
Okay? Okay,
That's crazy.
thank you very much.
Sir, we haven't.
What do you think?
Come out yet?
No, over the next 15 to 45 days, we're supposed to be seeing stuff. They got.
What did he sign?
He signed an executive order revealing the all the details the government has on JFK, RFK, and MLK. Oh, which, by the way, welcome to Faith, Fiction, and Folklore, or as we have to call it, the Triad Podcast, since we forgot to introduce the show. Yes, all of it. That's what he said, all of it.
That's crazy.
Welcome back.
Yeah. It's pretty exciting. So I'm very curious as to what's gonna come up. So just let's see who RFK thinks killed his dad, and let's see if he's right. This is just
That
for
was a banned
posterity.
video.
This is banned.video. Yes. Why just rely on YouTube when we are on YouTube?
Please go to thealexshowstore.com. We have the great atomic defense.
Not as many ads
greatest,
is one thing.
Concentrated of all the known.
I want to go to a video now of RFK Jr.
Really played out
this
an ad.
really hit me because as much.
What?
I want some of that.
You want some of that?
Whatever he was.
I ordered the ultimate CMOS. We'll see if it works.
Okay.
It's easy for us to speculate and come up with theories about things like assassinations in the past. It hits a little different when it's the son of the man who was killed, and he's talking about this. He's not just speculating disinterestedly. He has a personal vested interest in finding out what happened to his father. So here's RFK Jr. laying out, that's one thing I haven't even mentioned today. Trump signed orders to release all of the files for MLK, JFK, and RFK assassinations. I haven't even mentioned this. This is huge. President Trump signed an executive order Thursday to release files related to the assassinations of JFK, RFK, and MLK, saying lots of people have been waiting long years for decades for this, and that's going to happen. He then gave the pen he signed the order with to RFK Jr., saying, quote, all will be revealed. Now, we're not getting too excited about this. I think it will be redacted. I think a lot of pertinent information will not make it through the process that it has to go through to be released.
I disagree with him here because Tulsi Gabbard is in charge of that. So I'm kind of optimistic. She's kind of an anti-establishment type at this point. So I don't think as much is going to be redacted as people think. I think that would have been true 4 years ago, but I don't think that's true right now, necessarily. I'll be very mad if it is, though.
But it's still a major and monumental move towards getting some truth about these very suspicious events. Here's RFK Jr. talking about what he thinks happened to his father.
They keep trying to kill you guys. What the is this about?
And my father was brought through the kitchen where he was not scheduled to go. And Sirhan fired 2 shots at my father. The first one hit Paul Schrade in the head. The second one hit a door jamb behind my father, the wooden frame of the door. Then he was grabbed by 6 men, and they pinned him against the steam table, and they took his gun hand, and they pushed it away from my father, pointing the opposite way. He then fired off 6 more shots and emptied the chamber, but exactly the opposite direction of my father, and all of those shots hit people. So we know what happened to every bullet in his gun, but the bullets that killed my father, according to Thomas Noguchi's autopsy report, Thomas Noguchi was the most important coroner in American history. My father was shot 4 times from behind, never from in front. The shots, one of the shot passed harmlessly through his shoulder pad. The other three, two lodged in his back. The other one was right behind his ear. And that in each case, they were contact shots, meaning the barrel of the gun was touching his skin or half an inch from it, and they left carbon tattoos. And they all had an upward angle so that whoever was doing it was standing behind my father and holding the gun, not directly at him like that, but at an angle where you could keep him closer.
So it was almost like...
And the guy who was in that position is a guy called Eugene Thane Cesar, and he was a security guard who was hired 2 days before. When my
Crazy, and to me that gives some credence to.
So what do you guys think?
So he'd have to be in the trunk, right?
I don't know. I have no clue.
Trunk of the car?
I don't know. Yeah. I have no clue what happened. Thoughts?
Well, those are my thoughts. Sounds like somebody's laid in the trunk and shot him in the back.
Could be. Huh? I'll tell you a funny story.
That's nuts.
Sorry, Trevor, go on.
That's nuts.
Oh yeah, I'll tell you a funny story on this though. It's kind of humorous to me now, all these years later. Back when I was first working for Joe Cristiano on the radio, we actually got an interview with Roger Stone over the man who killed Kennedy. And because I'm a dummy, I was actually disappointed because I thought Roger Stone was Oliver Stone for Forever and a Day, but that wasn't the same guy. So, yeah. So Roger Stone, the guy who ends up being part of the Trump administration and like this giant historical figure now, we actually got to interview back when it was right after, whenever the man who shot JFK came out, because he thought Lyndon Johnson did it, and he had a bunch of personal accounts that convinced him that, yeah, it was Lyndon Johnson. So that was kind of fun. But yeah, I always remember going, oh man, I thought it was Oliver Stone, but shows how much I know. But anyway, so Cody, you were wanting to know what old RFK is up to nowadays, correct?
Yeah.
Well, he was just trying to get confirmed tonight in the Senate, so let's see if I can pull that up. If you're wanting to, he got into it with Debbie Wasserman Schultz is her name. Yeah. So we'll see if I can find the video. I'm gonna be mad if I got everything pulled up except that one. And of course it's the case. All right. Talk
So who was it that we were just listening to? I'm sorry.
That was RFK.
RFK.
Yeah, RFK
Okay.
Jr., so it's RFK's son.
And who was RFK? I'm sorry.
Okay, I'm trying to remember. He was
Robert F. Kennedy. He's like Robert.
It would have been, yeah. Well, yeah, he's Robert Kennedy's son, and I think Robert Kennedy was John F. Kennedy's brother, if I'm not mistaken.
Yes.
Oh, okay. So was he talking about JFK or his dad?
His dad, Robert. So let's see.
Okay.
RFK Jr. Schultz, Senate.
Robert Kennedy is also known as Bobby Kennedy.
Yeah, Bobby.
Okay, that's why I'm confused. It's like.
Here we go.
But yeah, they were a mob family, and I think they were threatening the establishment.
Oh yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
Well, I know.
You can organize a closet.
Yeah,
there's always going to be a rule, around property. There's always going to be a protection racket. There's always going to be somebody there that comes in to protect you for a cost.
Yeah.
And that's taxes.
That's the government. Yeah.
So when the mob came in and started overtaking the establishment,
yeah, they got
had to be done.
Yeah, that's why you got RICO and all manner of laws that you're like, I wouldn't want that to happen under normal circumstances, but yeah, they'd play. Yes.
Jen in the chat said, "I can believe LBJ had a hand in it. I think he wanted to be president real bad."
Yeah, I think so. I think that was what was going on. One of the anecdotes Roger Stone mentioned was that about a half a second or so, if I remember correctly, about a half a second or so, the gun went off. LBJ actually ducked in his limo before the shots rang out. So it's like, yeah, he's probably in on it.
So he knew.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. All right, well, here is Robert F. Kennedy Jr.'s back and forth with Waltzerman Schultz, Debbie Waltzerman Schultz. I didn't know she was still around, but apparently she is, so.
I don't even know who she is.
She was the head of the DNC for forever and a day.
Oh, goodness.
Yeah, and I don't know what she's still, well, these guys, they never go away, so.
Point of order, pursuant to House Rule 11, Clause 2, which Mr. Kennedy is violative of, I move that we move into executive session because Mr. Kennedy has repeatedly made despicable anti-Semitic and anti-Asian comments as recently as last week. Rule 11, Clause 2 says,
I wonder after, it's been a decade, you would think they'd start to realize that old line is getting played, but
Oh, man.
they're just going to keep running with it. It's like, it's been 10 years, stop. Nobody believes you, quit it.
whenever it is asserted by a member of the committee that the evidence or testimony at a hearing may tend to defame, degrade, or incriminate any person, or it is asserted by a witness that the evidence or testimony that the witness would give at a hearing may tend to defame, degrade, or incriminate the witness, and it goes on. Mr. Kennedy, among many other things, has said, I know a lot now about bioweapons. We put out hundreds of millions of dollars into ethnically targeted microbes. The Chinese have done the same thing. In fact, COVID-19, there is an argument that it is ethnically targeted. COVID-19 attacks certain races disproportionately. The races that are most immune to COVID-19 are...
A lady making a motion or a speech?
I've made a motion to move into executive session because...
I just want to point out how stupid her quote is. It's like, this disease is targeting races unfairly. I wonder why. She's like, you're a racist. I'm complaining about these people dying. What do you mean I'm racist?
Yep. Stop pointing things out.
Yeah. It's like, you're not supposed to point out that we're targeting people. You're a racist.
You're supposed to make emotion, not be emotional.
Well, yeah, that's words to live by for that group.
Mr. Kennedy's testimony...
Mr. Chairman, I move
his
to table the
previous
motion.
statements.
The gentleman from Kentucky has moved to table.
Mr. Chairman, I ask for a roll call vote on the motion to table.
Well, let me ask the question.
Roll call.
Questions on the motion to table. The gentlelady has asked for a roll call vote. The clerk will have to step back for a second. The clerk will have to come in. We'll call the roll on the motion to table, and then we can get back to testimony.
I think the witnesses can sit in the chairs sitting behind.
Your time matters, so let us automate the manual task.
Your time matters.
Oh, thank you. I'm so appreciative.
That up to the clerk.
I didn't think it really mattered.
With that,
Everything matters.
yeah, why don't we do that? Maybe we can go right down here.
Mr. Chairman, point of order.
Gentleman from Louisiana.
Is it the custom of this committee to censor viewpoints that we disagree with from witnesses?
Mr. Chairman, I have
That's not a point of order.
motion on the...
Yeah, real clever guy. No, we didn't censor it. We let her talk for 10 minutes and she wouldn't shut up. So...
table.
There's a motion and the vote's been
Move into
called.
executive session.
We're waiting for the clerks.
Is violative of
waiting
Rule
for
11,
the
Clause
clerks.
2.
Waiting for the clerks. Clerk will call the roll. Clerk will report.
Mr. Chairman, there are 10 ayes and 8 noes.
The motion to table is agreed to. The chair now recognizes the gentlelady from Florida, Ms. Wasserman Schultz. Good job.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Mr. Chairman, we respectfully requested that you rescind Mr. Kennedy's invitation to appear here due to his repeated and very recent statements that spread dangerous anti-Semitic and anti-Asian conspiracy theories and attempted to move into executive session because House rules prohibit...
Only in the mind of an Orwellian senator can a suggestion that races are being targeted be anti that race.
Public testimony that degrades or defames people. His reckless rhetoric helped fuel anti-Semitic incidents, which for the record are at the highest level in the United States since 1970. They have nearly tripled in the last 6 years. Since you gave Mr. Kennedy a megaphone today, I want to give him a chance to correct his statements and prepare some of the harm that he's helped cause. Mr. Kennedy, you're well educated, so yes or no, please. Are you aware that for centuries Jews have been scapegoated?
Never just say yes or no. like ever, to anything. Like that's just a good rule of thumb. It's like you want to get stuck in a verbal trap, just go yes or no. Just go along with the whole yes or no thing. I hate it when people do that.
Make no claims.
Make no
That's
claims.
the important part.
Yeah.
No.
Scapegoated and blamed for causing illnesses like Black Plague and more recently COVID?
Those are known as blood libel, and they are one of the worst and most disturbing parts of human history.
Good. I'm glad to know that, of course, that you acknowledge
I'm
that.
glad
Of course,
to know
it's
that.
True and well documented that this pernicious form of anti-Semitism led to centuries of
Like how isn't it amazing that the smuggest people are always the dumbest? It's like, yes, that's called a blood libel when they're blamed. Well, I'm glad to know that. Here's the next part. They're killing those people. Therefore, they're not the ones causing the plague. Shut up, I'm speaking.
Even horrific pogroms and massacres, and it still fuels deadly violence today. Yet last week, you floated a baseless conspiracy theory that the coronavirus was bioengineered to target Caucasians and black people, but to spare Ashkenazi Jews and Chinese people. Mr. Kennedy, your bizarre, unproven claim echoes that same historic slander of labeling Jews and Chinese people as a race, and that Jews, and in this case Chinese people, somehow managed to avoid a deadly illness that targets other groups for death. You do see that, yes or no?
You're misstating.
No. I quoted what you said earlier, and it is directly what you said. So just ask me yes or no.
I was describing an NIH-funded study.
No, you didn't cite any.
I was describing an NIH-funded study by Cleveland Clinic scientists.
Reclaiming my time. You did not reference reclaiming my time.
Published in USC Medical, which is one of...
The time is mine.
He's about to call me out as a liar. Shush, I reclaim my time. It's my time. I'm speaking.
Oh, it's crazy, dude.
Yeah. I mean, he's quoting a study saying that it's basically targeting some races and not others. And she's the one that makes the reference that therefore the races not targeted created the virus when everybody said it was a lab. Therefore, he's the racist because she inferred race.
But honestly, she's barely even letting him answer anything.
Oh, because she knows it's stupid. She's just trying to get a soundbite that, CNN or somebody can use.
She wants his anger.
Yeah, that's really what it is. That's a good point. It's about getting them riled up because you're saying something so asinine and stupid that if they quote mine you, if they just selectively pull something, you will look hyper defensive, like you're on edge, when really you're indignant at the stupid. Yeah. That's basically what it is.
Reclaiming it, please ask the witness to stop talking.
You asked me a question.
Reclaiming.
Allow me to answer my question.
Mr. Chairman, I'd like about 10 seconds back.
You are slandering me incorrectly. You're saying it's dishonest.
Time belongs to the gentlelady from Florida.
Defend myself.
Mr.
Time
Chairman,
belongs to the gentlelady from Florida.
I'd like 15 seconds back.
We will
Mr.
be happy to
Chairman.
give you that.
Thank you so much. You did not cite any study like you are citing here now during that conversation. You referenced no study at all. You simply labeled Jews and Chinese people as a race, and you also said that somehow they managed to avoid a deadly illness that targets other groups for death. You don't see that? You're trying to rewrite history here. A few months ago, Mr. Kennedy, you compared COVID public health policies to barbaric, murderous tactics of Nazi Germany, saying that Jewish people in Nazi Germany had more freedom than Americans facing COVID health restrictions. In hindsight, Mr. Kennedy, do you reject this absurd and deeply hurtful and harmful comparison, or do you still stand by it?
Congressman, what you are saying is a lie.
That you said it.
I did not. I never I never, ever
Mr. Chairman, I'm happy to enter into the record when Mr. Kennedy said that. I reclaim my time. In discussing COVID public health measures, you made light of the genocide against Jewish people by saying, and I quote, even Hitler's Germany, you could cross the Alps to Switzerland, you could hide in an attic like Anne Frank did. Mr. Kennedy, do you think it was easy for Jewish people to escape systematic slaughter of Nazis, yes or no?
Absolutely not.
Do you enjoy beating your wife, yes or no? It's like the quintessential...
What's the deal with comparing, like, anybody with Hitler anymore? It's all people seem to do anymore.
I don't know. It is...
No, they always have.
Yeah, everybody compares everybody.
People want somebody to hate.
Yeah, it's scapegoating. Like Hitler's like the ultimate bad guy. And so, you just scream the name of the ultimate bad guy and hope you can associate the person you don't like with them. And it's just a cheap tactic.
I mean, Hitler painted paintings on the side.
So Picasso was Hitler.
Exactly. Like,
obviously.
There's no logic in that.
Yeah, exactly. Van Gogh, we knew it all along. What a genocidal maniac.
Van Gogh was a hero.
Okay, good.
Have you wait. This is completely off topic, but have you seen the episode of? Oh no, I had it and I lost it. I'm sorry. It's a British TV show where the doctor is the main character.
Oh, Doctor Who.
Doctor Who,
Yeah.
where they go back to see Van Gogh. It's a great episode.
That's fun. Well, yeah, well, that poor show has been run through the ringer. That's all I really know about it. Oh, there was a funny line from Freedom Tunes. So shout out to that YouTube channel. It was doing an impression of Jordan Peterson. And it was like, so in the cartoon, Jordan Peterson had captured Captain America. And they were like, what is your diabolical plan? And of course, Jordan Peterson's like, my goal is to tell young men to make up with their dads and clean their rooms. And Captain America's like, just like Hitler. So it's a great cartoon. I love that.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, I don't know. There's a the sign over Auschwitz said, "Work will set you free."
Freedom is slavery. Yeah.
Kind of fundamentally true.
Yeah, in a dark, twisted way, but it's like your boss telling you to take responsibility for your actions when he's wanting you to take the fall for something he did. So, you could always appeal to a principal to get off of something, I guess.
It's just as hard to wear a mask during COVID as it was to hide under floorboards or false walls so you weren't murdered or dragged to a concentration camp. Yes or no?
Excuse me?
That's a question, yes or no?
I didn't hear your question.
Okay. I said, do you think it was just as hard to wear a mask during COVID as it was to hide under floorboards or false walls so you weren't murdered or dragged to a concentration camp?
Of course not. That's ridiculous.
I'd argue the same kind of petty people did both. And required, made those situations possible.
Yeah.
That's a comparison that you made.
I did
Mr.
not
Kennedy,
make that comparison.
Were the measures taken to contain the spread and fatalities related to COVID in any way at all comparable to the murder of 6 million Jews, yes or no?
Absolutely not.
Okay. Let's be very clear here. There's no legitimate comparison to the Holocaust. It doesn't matter if you're talking about AI, vaccine mandates, or anything else. There is no comparison. And if this were a slip of the tongue, Mr. Kennedy, or a one-off comment, we would all move on. But there's a deeply disturbing pattern. In 2015, you apologized to all those, quote, whom I offended by my use of the word Holocaust to describe the autism epidemic. When discussing efforts to encourage others to get vaccinated for COVID-19, you said Nazis did that in the camps in World War II. They tested vaccines on gypsies and Jews. That was a quote. Like before, you apologized for invoking the Holocaust, saying, quote...
Just to point out, Benjamin Netanyahu did test the vaccine on the Jews.
I mean,
just saying that,
Did you know all those hormone blockers and stuff that they're passing out to the kids, training kids?
Oh yeah, what about them?
Those are made by Teva Pharmaceuticals in Israel. Just saying.
I'm not gonna go there. Well, I mean, I am, but I don't know exactly what that means. It's weird because this the tech industry is really tied into Israel in America, so I don't know if there's necessarily a conspiracy. I think the conspiracy was from the Pentagon, basically. So I think all this stuff kind of comes from the Pentagon at the end of the day, and the CIA and stuff. So maybe the Rockefeller endowment, perhaps. But there's a whole bunch of shady characters that are funding all of this. So
yeah.
But we're out of the World Economic Forum, not the World Health Organization. So that's good. We're no longer a part of the WHO.
Yeah, Trump's doing some good stuff. think it's gonna kind of burn for a minute, but he's gonna bring a lot of industry back. I think.
I think so. Yeah.
Like
I'm
TikTok?
optimistic. I'm optimistic.
No.
I was a little.
TikTok thing I don't get because he wanted to ban it like in 2020, right?
Yeah, he
So
did.
proposed it.
Yeah.
And then
Yeah, he proposed it.
then he did
saved
it.
He
and then brought it back the same day.
Yeah,
So he, like, made himself a savior.
Yeah.
Well, he won the youth vote and changed his mind, is what happened. I think the rumor is Barron told him to get on TikTok, and so he did, and it was like millions of people, and I think like the youth vote helped flip Michigan, for example. So, recognizing that TikTok has utility, he changed his mind, basically. That's what he said. Yeah, and so his plan now is, instead of banning it, of course, the cynical or not, like why did Joe Biden and those guys want to ban it? You know, just this question, like why did that bunch want to ban it? I think they probably had some other clause paper clipped in whatever bill they were trying to pass that was going to like limit censorship on the whole. But let me think. Yeah. But now he wants to buy TikTok and basically kind of arrest the control and I guess the data from China, or at least split it somehow. So I think his thinking is if we control the ring, as it were, it won't be as bad for us. You can argue. You argue whether or not it's a good idea.
Jen said he talked to Davos.
Oh.
Smart kid. Keep an eye on him. He's the grandchildren's future.
Yeah, I agree. Yeah, he's... Did you see in Inauguration Day? I don't know if I can pull this up on TikTok or not. But this was fantastic. He said something to Biden, and I don't know what he said, but it disturbed that old man. Let me see if I can find it.
For those of us who don't know, who's Davos?
Davos, I think, is also the World Economic Forum. It's like the same group. Let me type that in Google and make sure I'm right.
Yeah, that's that German dude. Just sounds like a bad guy.
Yeah, that's Charles Schwab. You've learned nothing to do that.
No,
Yeah, Klaus
Charles
Schwab.
is
Klaus
the
Schwab.
investment company.
Yeah, Klaus Schwab. I'm not going to pronounce that. Switzerland. Yeah, the Davos Group is the World Economic Forum. They're the ones that put out the pleasant commercial, "You will own nothing and be happy." So...
Davos is a place?
I don't know if Davos is a place.
What?
That's what Jen said.
Oh, Davos is a place. Okay. So...
Beats me, John.
So it's the location of the World Economic Forum. Okay, yeah. Yeah,
Apparently, Gary got it right. Somebody got it right.
Yeah, somebody's right. As long as somebody was right. As long as somebody was right.
Well, the chat's like 10 seconds behind, so I'm trying to keep up with her.
Gotcha. Let's see. So Barron talks to Biden. Let's see if I can find that clip. Are they going to try to hide it from me? Wouldn't surprise me if they did. No. This is the one.
Oh, it's in Switzerland.
Yeah, okay, stop it. So speaking of the satanic TikTok, all right, so here's the scene that I saw. See if it shows Biden's reaction here. It doesn't. Dadgummit. All right, so anyway, yeah, he said something to the old man, and it got him really upset.
That's funny. That kid's huge, man.
Yeah, he is very tall.
I can't remember what he is, like 6'7" or something.
I don't know. I just know that, yeah, he's really tall. Well, it doesn't do me any good if you don't show me Joe Biden's face, Internet. Good night. Never mind. It doesn't matter. I'll pull it up later. I'm not good at looking this stuff up fast enough. Yeah, bottom line is he shakes his hand, and then Joe Biden, who's all doing the fake politician smile, starts frowning and acting all scared and stuff. People were suggesting that he said, "You're fired." So, so that's how that went out. Play it out.
Sure,
Okay.
something like that.
Yeah, so that is the situation with RFK, and hopefully he will get answers about his dad and his uncle, and we'll get some answers about MLK. That would be awesome. I think that's all we've got for this particular episode, so we need to move on to something else. So who wants to sign us off while I pull up Trevor's link?
Trevor, get it.
Thank you for watching this episode of the Try Not to Edit podcast or listening. We will see you on the next one. Bye.
Okay.
Later.
Peace.
And now for the transition. So
You guys keep talking amongst yourselves until I find... So I guess we need to do what? Next on the docket was the ghost reaction video, I believe?
yes.
Okay.
I will be right back.
Okay, so let me pull it up. Go forth, whatever you need to do. Cody, all right, man? You're kind of nodding off. You doing good?
Yeah, I ate a big gummy earlier, man.
You had what?
I ate a big gummy earlier.
Oh, gotcha.
Yep. Not good.
Not good.
Not good, bro.
He who is without sin casts the first gummy.
Right.
That was a lame joke, even for me. Man, I am off tonight. I'm just off. I had my head all like psyched up for this debate, and I understand Jeremiah couldn't make it.
Yeah,
I'm sure it's a legitimate thing, but my brain was like all in on like everything I got to remember.
Floating around up in there.
I'm sorry.
You got info in there that you can't use right now. It's all floating around.
Exactly. Yeah, I've got like all this other stuff, and I'm like, I can't remember anything else. It's crazy.
Yeah.
So it's all right though. I'm looking forward to it. So, you know, I watched some of his stuff on YouTube, and I think he's very well spoken, and I'm actually excited to meet him. So
Yeah. Cool.
So how do you guys know each other?
We worked together when I worked at the factory.
So, well, that's cool. Did you guys debate a lot? Was it like us, where we go back and
Wouldn't
forth?
call it debate. I mean, it was like lunchroom talk, you know.
Lunchroom talk, gotcha.
Yeah.
Sweet.
Yeah. We got into some stuff.
Yeah.
We've always talked about the Bible.
Well, that's cool. So, just like the Gospels, you guys debate Paul. Like, does he agree with you on like Revelation and some books being like canon and others not being canon? Like,
I don't know at this point because I mean it's been a few years since we talked about all that stuff. So
okay, well, I'll be curious
I'm excited to find out.
Yeah, I'm curious to poke his brain.
Poke my brain.
Poke your brain. Well,
whose brain are we poking?
We're just talking, not anything specific.
Oh.
Okay, so I'm gonna lead us in this time. So,
okay.
Welcome to the Faith, Fiction, and Folklore Podcast, or as we like to call it, the Try F Podcast, where we try not to F it up. And today, Trevor has found us some ghost videos, ghost footage. Are we going to? What's the goal here, Trevor? Are we going to try to debunk the footage, say whether or not we think it's CGI? Are we supposed to shriek and cry? Like what is it? What is the intended goal of this ghost footage?
Oh well, it's kind of a reaction type thing. Is it real? Is it not real?
Okay.
Do we think it's silly? Do we think it's fake? This is Pearson top 5.
Running up them stairs.
That's just his.
I don't know.
He likes to put fake scary
So
stuff
it's a thumbnail.
on his thumbnails.
Okay, got it.
It's just a thumbnail.
Got it.
So,
All right. Well, boys,
this is gonna be our ghost stuff.
we need to think of a clever name for this segment. Is it a ghost or is it bullcrap? I need something better than that, but that's what we're gonna stick with now. Phantom or fake? Phantom or fake? This is the segment called Phantom or Fake. We're going with that because it's alliteration. Here we go.
Okay. Oh, hold on.
What?
While we're watching this, or right after, go over and subscribe to Fearsome Top 5 if you like his content.
Yes. So Fearsome Top 5. That's the name of his channel. Okay.
He's really good.
Sweet.
Welcome to Fearsome Top 5. You're about to witness 5 scary ghost videos that you definitely should not watch alone. Number 1. 7 years ago, Kathy from the Paranormal Nightmares YouTube channel moved into a new home with her husband and daughter. Almost immediately, they all noticed something was off. A heavy, unexplainable presence seemed to linger in the house. It wasn't long before the unease turned into undeniable activity. Objects would move without reason, as if touched by unseen hands. Determined to make sense of what was happening, Kathy installed cameras throughout her home, capturing moments that defied explanation. Over the years, the footage has revealed unsettling events that still leave her questioning who or what is lurking in her home. For a while, the strange activity seemed to stop entirely. But one night, after spending the day out with her husband, Kathy returned home to find objects in her bedroom moved without explanation. And when she checked her camera, what she discovered left her unnerved.
Okay, so the camera confirmed it wasn't like just forgetting that you placed stuff there, right?
Yes.
Okay. Just want clarity.
This sounds like the plot from what's that movie?
The Amityville 910 718.
Activity.
Oh, Paranormal 8. Okay, yeah. Like this is basically the plot of all the Paranormal Activities. Got it.
Yes. Most of these videos will be like that.
Okay.
And sometimes he'll bring in like alien stuff and but this one's mostly focused on ghost stuff.
Well, those are probably demons anyway, so it's just all paranormal activity.
Yeah, I don't even believe in aliens.
Yeah.
After the last few months, I don't either. It's like drones or demons. That's my argument. Drones or demons.
Or demons or drones.
Or demons are drones. Whichever works. But first an ad, boys and girls. I'm turning the music off. Organize your...
we don't want to get demonetized.
Yeah, because apparently that's like a thing. All right. Wait, she said this is her phone footage?
No, it's a camera thing.
Okay, so it's
whatever
like a nighttime camera thing. All right.
Yeah, like an indoor ring camera.
That's a pretty camera.
Yeah, they're very good.
I need that camera for this podcast. Why can't we find cameras for this? Yeah.
Fake. Look, the camera's moving. Isn't it?
No, the mirror's moving. Look at the closet. Closet's opening.
Yeah, it's creepy. Shit like that happened in Pete's.
The closet.
Okay, sorry. Say that again.
At the barn.
Oh yeah, stuff like that would happen at the barn.
Yeah.
There were no closet doors, if I remember.
No, but stuff moved.
Oh yeah, stuff definitely moved. It was string though.
Well, I must have been stupid because I never noticed. That's probably why, like, I never had objects moving whenever I went through spiritual stuff because I'd been too dumb to notice, and I just assumed I did it. But
yeah.
Anyway,
he fed off a negative energy.
Yeah, that's kind of what they do. So
the more hate was there, the better. The more he acted up.
Yeah. So I guess that raises an interesting question. How are we supposed to tell? Because it could have been a demon. It could have also been her husband pulling that closet door back with a fish string. So how are we to know? How are we to know?
Well, I mean,
you can't know on these.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's hard to tell.
Yeah, I'm not seeing anything obvious. So we'll say possibly a phantom, since we couldn't confirm it either way. I'm not seeing any signs of CGI or video editing, so we'll give that this is possibly valid.
The door mysteriously began shaking as if something inside was trying to escape. This chilling movement went on for some time before the door slowly began to slide open. The door eerily moved to the right, revealing a closet that's full of clothes. Despite trying, Kathy wasn't able to find an explanation for this. And in the following days, one of her cameras would catch something that would chill her to her core.
This is our other camera.
Okay.
It's really nice cameras.
Yeah, I know, right? That's what I keep thinking.
Orbs. Oop, lamppost. String.
We did do that.
Right. Is a camera?
He's angry. When I was in theater in college, one of the tricks that we did is we just lined some fish string behind a bookshelf and, you know, drilled a hole into the side of the shelf, and we just pulled the string and all the books would fall off.
Yeah, it's not hard to do, and a lot of debunkers will actually like recreate a lot of what happens in a lot of these videos.
Yeah, I guess you'd have to be there and have the context, though, because I don't know if just because you can recreate something that debunks it. Like, I don't know if I agree with that entire methodology. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, I'm not seeing anything that you... I guess the issue is I'm not seeing anything right now that you couldn't fake. But just because you can recreate it doesn't mean it is fake, if that makes any sense.
And that's the hard part about making content like this is what's real, what's fake, what's mixed. Because there are people out there that they get tiny bits of things, but they want to keep making content.
Mm-hmm.
So they'll fake stuff.
Yeah, like they run out of stuff eventually, but they got to keep the channel going.
Yep.
Yeah, I can see that.
In her basement caught a sudden impression appear on her couch. No one was around, but it looks as if someone sat down. Moments later, the cushion began to rise back into place.
Okay, I don't know how you could fake that. Any ideas? No?
No, not really.
Me neither.
Electric couch.
That's interesting. An electric couch. Yes.
Yep.
All right.
You can definitely tell they run off anger, man.
Yeah. No, they do. I agree.
As if an unseen person stood up. Then a lamp to the left began to move before getting knocked to the floor. This terrifying footage has left Kathy on edge, but little did she know what this camera would catch next.
Dang. That's wild.
As this camera was rolling, a bizarre mist began to appear out of nowhere. These transparent clouds of smoke seemed to manifest out of thin air and disappeared just as quickly as they came. This strange phenomenon is just another thing to be added to the list of creepy
My money's on fake. I got a theory for that. Baby powder and a blower. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah,
Something.
that's what the debunkers come up with. Yeah.
Yeah. If you look at how it dissipates, the air movement, it's some sort of powder on a blower.
And it's perfectly aligned with the camera.
Yeah, exactly. So my money's on baby powder on a blower. So I'm going to go ahead and call fake on these whole videos because of that. So I don't know how to explain the couch thing, but everything else, I'm like, yeah, okay, baby powder on a blower, you could do that. So
yeah,
that's not an orb. Like the orb's the thing that, like, whenever I see them, they've always got a real jerky movement that I don't. But
yeah,
it's like jerky, and it's really you. There's no real consistent speed to it, so you don't know how you could get something to move like that. But,
they're just orbs.
Yeah. Yeah. So anyway, yeah, I'm gonna go fake on that.
that happens in Kathy's house. Number 2. 4 years ago on the Ghost subreddit, a user named Mason posted a video asking for people's thoughts. One night around 3 in the morning, the security camera in his backyard detected motion. And the next morning, when Mason got a chance to review the footage, the hairs on his neck began to stand up. In the dead of night, a strange figure can be seen standing on his back porch. This eerie silhouette suddenly darted forward, appearing to go directly into the house. The only problem, the sliding glass doors were closed and locked. Someone in the comments pointed out that this eerie silhouette resembles a little girl in a fairy dress, gripping onto the door's edge as she swings herself inside.
It's a fairy.
Mason is adamant that at no point did this back...
It's a fairy? Is that what you said?
Yeah. Yeah. Fairies are a demonic type of...
I've heard
whatever.
that. I've heard like the old medieval lore is basically their way of explaining the demonic.
Yeah.
I don't know where I heard. Like I think it was Greg that told me, but I don't know where he heard that.
Yeah, if you go back far enough, ancient fairies were part of the demonic realm and stuff.
Ah, interesting. Huh.
And they would come in, and fairies are actually the ones that are responsible for moving your stuff or hiding somewhere, knocking books off shelves and all that.
Gotcha. Well, that's annoying.
And then, in other cultures, they're called poltergeists,
Yeah. Well, I have found it interesting that if you look at a lot of the stories, it does mimic what people actually experience. It's just like the descriptions of the things themselves are always different.
Yeah.
Like in our day, it'd be aliens, but aliens are kind of the same thing as like sleep paralysis 20 years ago. And before that, it was some kind of, oppression by some kind of demon sitting on your chest. Like you'll see the old medieval paintings of a demon sitting on your chest. I mean, it's the same kind of stuff. It's just always depicted in different ways.
Yeah.
So.
Door open. So who or what was lurking on his porch, and where exactly did it go? Number 3. A woman named Justice on TikTok doesn't have many videos on her account, but the few she has posted are of her daily life and adorable daughter. One day while Justice was recording a video of her daughter playing, she accidentally caught something that made her stomach drop.
These are always the creepiest.
As her daughter began crawling on the floor, her right leg suddenly lifted up and appeared to get yanked back. An invisible force seemed to pull the small child back, causing her to cry out shortly after. From the way her leg lifts up and moves backwards, this doesn't look like a natural movement for a baby.
I'm going to look at that again. Hang on.
Interesting.
An invisible force seemed to pull the small child back, causing her to cry out
I'm going to go fishing line. Or something like that.
Regardless of if it's real or fake, whenever you do something like that to your kid, whether it's supernatural or not,
well,
that's not okay just to get views.
Yeah. Well, the reason I say that is because I'm trying to see, and maybe my eyes are wrong, but I'm like looking to see where the line would be connected to the pants. Because if there's something yanking, then it's going to tug at the garment the most there. And I think you can see it. Let me see if I can play it and demonstrate it. I don't know.
her stomach drop.
So I feel like there might be something tugging at the crease of the knee. What do you think?
Well, honestly, I think the kid just lost balance.
That could be it too.
I've seen kids crawling around. They lose their balance and they throw that leg back to rebalance.
There you go. That could be it. That could be it. All right, let's keep going.
As her daughter began crawling on the floor, her right leg suddenly lifted up and appeared to get yanked back. An invisible force seemed to pull the small child back, causing her to cry out shortly after. From the way her leg lifts up and moves backwards, this doesn't look like a natural movement for a baby. No matter how many times Justice watches this video, she can't seem to rationalize how this happened. But lucky for us, someone in the comments was nice enough to leave an explanation. Okay, so when this happens, usually it just means you need to pack all your stuff and leave like yesterday. Hope this helps. And that right there is some pretty solid advice. Number 4. Over on a TikTok account called Miss Erin Els, a woman named Erin recently started posting about an unnerving situation she found herself in. At 2:30 one night, the sound of rattling caught her attention. She pulled out her phone and cautiously made her way down the dark hallway. And when she stood outside of her bathroom, she was shocked at what she saw.
I need help. I took this video at like 2:30 this morning, and I don't know what to do. Oh God, something's in the bathroom. There's no way something is in the bathroom downstairs.
Well, get in there.
Get a weapon. Take the cat. The cat'll help.
Probably fake. I don't believe anything
So
on TikTok.
now it's almost 8 a.m. I'm
Oh,
not
yeah.
positive, but I have to imagine whatever it was is still in there. 1, what the heck could it be? 2, what do I do? Because I am not opening that door.
The unmistakable sound of rattling
probably one of your
coming
cats.
from the other side.
That's what I was thinking. I wrote a play in high school called The Adventures of Carrie McKnight. And it was these ghost hunters that were like fakers, and they were just exercising raccoons. They'd like, you know, the implication being they just like, either the people had raccoons in their building, or they're like throwing raccoons and blaming the haunting on ghosts or something. So, my money's on cat or raccoon.
Yeah.
Of her bathroom door. And if we look closely, we can see the doorknob slightly moving as if someone or something was trying to get out. Fearing that it was an animal trapped inside.
I didn't see that, but anyway. Did you guys see the doorknob move?
No, it's too small. I can't really see it.
Yeah, I couldn't see it.
Erin refused to open the door, but with comments recommending to try to see into the bathroom from an outside window, she decided to give it a shot.
Alright, I think whatever was in there is probably still in there, so I'm gonna see if I can figure it out from the outside. There's a window down there. And that window hopefully has the shade up. Okay. Oh no.
Booga booga.
The shade is
Sorry.
down. Why is the shade down?
What?
Oh, I said ooga booga.
Oh, you're trying to
jump scare.
Oh, okay.
Jump
Got
scare.
it.
Didn't work.
I need the shade to be up.
With the shade down, there was no chance of getting a peek inside. She then reached out to her sister and her husband, who agreed to come take a look with their endoscope camera. The plan was to slip this tiny camera under the door to get a glimpse of what was going on inside. But her next video wasn't exactly the update we were expecting.
What was this ad?
Yeah, it was this ad.
Those dang ads.
Speaking of ads, I would consider this entire ad, or this entire video, an ad for gun control. She wouldn't have had this problem if she had a gun. Just saying.
Or another cat.
Well, not quite the update I was expecting to give, but the bathroom was empty. So we couldn't get the camera under the door. We then just like set up a bunch of barricades to open the door and basically route whatever it was down the hall, and had the door to the garage open and then the garage door open, thinking we could like scurry it along. And my brother-in-law went in. He had like all the protective gear on, and yeah, he couldn't find anything. Looked under the sink, looked in the toilet, looked behind the washer and dryer. There were really no signs of like disturbance. I couldn't find claw marks anywhere on the bottom of the door. So at this point, the best guess is it was either in the heat vent, which is in the ceiling, which is up near the door, so kind of like where the sound was coming from, or possibly in the ceiling or the wall. And all you people who think I need to like call someone to deal with paranormal, I'm just gonna, like, that's not, I don't think that's happening. I think it's an animal. I think it's some kind of critter. It's just, unfortunately, is going to be an unsolved mystery for now.
When the endoscope camera didn't work out, they bravely decided to simply open the door. But after cautiously going in and searching the bathroom, there was no sign of any person or animal. And
Well, why is this on the top 5 scary list if she didn't even think it was paranormal?
Sometimes he runs out of content.
It must be a dry, it must be a dry spell in the paranormal season.
Yo, you guys have to listen to Ted the Caver whenever you get a chance.
Ted the Caver? Okay.
Yep.
Do a creepypasta.
Yep.
Yeah.
All right. So
got a dude and his buddy. They go in a cave and dig it out.
So what do we even?
It's really good.
What do we even classify this? Because she's not even faking it. She's like, I think it's an animal. Did the fearsome guy fake it? We call it clickbait?
Possibly, yeah.
Okay.
That happens, though.
It's like, that doesn't count, dude. Come on.
Eerie discovery when you think back to the moving doorknob.
Sorry, sometimes he has really good ones, and then sometimes they're not so good.
Yeah. Yeah, I'm not impressed so far. The second one with the girl dress was probably the best I've seen.
People in the comments began to point out that in her video where she went outside to check the window, a ghostly voice was caught. Right after Aaron says that window hopefully has the shade up, a disembodied voice can be heard saying, no it isn't.
There's a window down there. And that window hopefully has the shade up. And that window hopefully has the shade up. Hopefully has the shade up.
Okay, so the EVP is why it's there. Okay. My apologies, Fearsome 5. I thought you just ran out of ideas. My bad. There was an EVP. So, I don't know. I don't know how you fake EVPs. I mean, there could have been a dude going, no, it isn't, I guess. But
it just sounded like she whispered it's freezing.
Maybe that's what she's... Yeah, okay, let's see. That's why I hate these subtitles. That's a good point. Because this is what I used to catch of Ghost Hunters. Whenever the Ghost Hunters show was out on Sci-Fi like years and years ago, they'd put the subtitles on there so you'd hear it, but it was like Matrixing. And it may or may not have actually been what whatever was saying, or if anything was being said at all. But the subtitles would like trick you into thinking you're hearing it. That's a good catch.
What is that?
So let's see what happens.
There's a window down there. And that window hopefully has the shade up. And that window
It's freezing. That's what it sounds like to me.
hopefully has the shade up.
I'm gonna go with you, Trevor. I'm gonna say, oh, it's freezing. I'm defaulting to your judgment there.
Chilling
I can't
voice
even tell
came
what's
through
going on.
clear as day.
What?
I literally can't even tell what's going on.
She's opening the door to check the shades, and then she's like, I hope the shutters are up. And then this guy's saying the voice says, no, it isn't. And Trevor's saying the voice is going, no, it's freezing. Or, oh, it's freezing.
Huh.
Yeah. She probably whispered, oh, it's freezing.
Can you hear the voice, Cody?
No.
Okay. You just don't have his volume up high enough.
Okay. Yeah, I mean, I can hear it, so...
But at the time, Aaron didn't hear a thing. So far, there's been no explanation as to what was going on inside of that bathroom. But what do you think could have been causing this? Number 5.
I'm not counting that.
Number 5.
I'm not counting that.
You can count it if you want to.
Hang in there, Cody. You gonna be all right?
Yeah, I'm tired, man. Been a long day.
Well, do you need to go, or are you all right?
What time is it? I'll go for a few more minutes.
Okay, all right.
We'll finish this out, I guess.
All right, sounds good.
A woman named Salsa on TikTok is a loving mom who, in her words, is just trying to live a life of normalcy with her family. But the last few years of her life have been far from normal. A few years back, she started to notice unnerving things happening in her home. Things that all pointed to there being a paranormal force lurking around her. One day while in her daughter's room, she stood up from the floor when the light bulb in the ceiling fan suddenly burst directly over her head. Another day while sweeping in the kitchen, she had to grab her phone that was ringing in her bedroom. She leaned the broom against the wall and headed towards the bedroom, but when she got back to the kitchen, the broom she just leaned against the wall was now standing straight up in the middle of the room. Along with these unsettling events, her and her daughters would often hear voices and see dark figures out of the corner of their eye. And after dealing with these occurrences for a while, she finally managed to catch something on camera.
Okay, so I have been trying to catch this on video for at least 2 weeks now.
This is a good one.
I have been seeing things move. Everybody thinks I'm nuts. I know what I saw. There's nobody here. My doggy. Okay.
Ad!
Perfect time.
Ad.
It's almost like a strategic. I will point out, did you notice how the dog didn't even really look at her?
Yeah.
That's a point in its favor.
Yeah, animals usually pick up on these things.
Yeah.
Did we lose audio?
No, it's just quiet. The suspense is terrible. To quote Willy Wonka, I hope it lasts.
The drawer opened up by itself.
Yeah.
It could be string, though.
I don't know. String works but one way.
Well, what gets me is it closed back.
Yeah, and well, no, she's also looking around, kind of. If she's gonna get that close, there's a good chance you would have seen the string.
Did you accidentally mute it? Because it has audio.
Oh, I
in it.
did. I'm an idiot. Never mind.
There it goes.
My bad. Ignore me. I'm stupid.
After calling out to the spirit that's in her home, a
He
drawer in the
shows it
bathroom
again.
mysteriously opened. This drawer somehow slid out completely, leaving Celsa in shock. And as she slowly began to approach, it suddenly closed. And she even managed to catch footage from another angle, showing that there was clearly no one else in the room. A month later, while she was home alone, she could sense that something was once again lingering in the bathroom.
Okay, I've been hearing noises. It's okay. It's okay. Shh, sit down. You scared? Yeah. Sometimes I'm hearing noises. Sometimes things get thrown off the counter. I just want to make sure that you see nothing because this is really creepy. I'm so over it.
And Pete used to close cabinet doors all the time.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Come on, John, hurry up and get home. Can you stop, please? Sometimes things get thrown off the counter. Sometimes the water gets shut on. Turned on.
Quit talking to it.
It's really creepy. Where's it, Lucy? Who is it?
Yeah, you know how like when we were kids we used to make invisible friends?
Yeah.
I wonder if this works the same way. Like the more you believe in it, the more it gets real.
Yeah, the more you believe it's real, the more it becomes real, and you give it energy by believing it's real.
Yeah.
Like,
Fear is powerful.
You
Yeah.
certainly give it energy by talking to it.
Hang on a sec.
Acknowledging it, yeah.
Yeah, like that's a bad idea.
Yeah.
All right, let's deal with the cat. Frisky or Friskers or whatever its name is.
Mr. Whiskers.
Mr. Whiskers.
What's his name again?
What's your cat's name?
Ranger.
Ranger.
Ranger Danger.
Ranger has made his presence known.
He has. He was singing the song of his people, to quote my wife.
I'm hungry, feed me. Feed me.
I gotta go potty.
I gotta go potty. Is it 3 a.m? You thought you're gonna sleep, but you're not.
Right. Yeah, that fear's making it powerful.
Yeah.
I can see it getting bigger.
Yeah, it does get worse in the start. Like, she has a lot more videos than just these.
Touch it.
Yeah.
That's just the cat box.
She heard noises coming from the bathroom, and when she began recording, the same drawer opened completely on its own. Soon after, another drawer was opened by an unseen force. She stared on in disbelief until both drawers unexplainably closed on their own. And Salsa wasn't the only person in the house that was having strange encounters in this bathroom.
Mom! Where is it? Okay. Oh, it's here. Oh my god. Oh my god. Mama! The door is open again! Oh my god.
In a hair-raising turn of events, one night, the camera in her living room captured something that can only be described as downright terrifying.
The suspense is killing me.
Yeah, like, well, I missed it already. The music's making me think I already missed it.
He'll explain it.
How did the camera know to zoom in?
Yeah, the camera know to zoom, exactly. Is he zooming? Is this the editor doing it?
Yeah, this is like when the shuttle left the moon, and then the camera zoomed in on it.
Talk about that later.
With the lights?
What are we looking at?
Oh my goodness.
Get on with it.
If you watch closely, in the back of the hallway, a dark figure suddenly emerged from behind a wall. This ominous
What's the
black
doorway?
silhouette leaned out, seeming to take a look down the hall. It then moved back out of view before stepping into view completely. Whatever this figure is, it continued to peek out, revealing a solid black face with no visible features. This horrifying capture is truly what nightmares are made of. But if we try to look on the bright side, maybe this ghostly apparition was just playing peekaboo. Make sure to follow me on Instagram to hear more from your boy.
They like to play peekaboo sometimes, especially if they know they're being watched
Well,
by cameras.
Well, he didn't do a very good job because I missed it the first time. So
Well, it was too dark.
Yeah.
It was way too dark. You couldn't see it.
That's funny. All right.
Anyways,
well,
let's hear some top
Well,
five.
boys, I am exhausted and I'm sitting here falling asleep, so I apologize. But
No,
It's
you're
alright.
good, man.
It's getting late.
Adios. Adios, good sir.
We love you.
All right.
see you boys next week.
We'll see you next week.
Thanks for being here.
And while he is exiting, I'm going to try to find our original shot. Apologies, guys. I know the screen ain't right. I am working
Sorry,
on it.
I think we lost everybody on the live stream anyways.
Well, that's good because there we go. Good night. Not the... Dude, I can't find our blasted window. All right, we'll just go to this one even though it's not right.
Oh, no. Are they seen without Cody? There it goes. That won't work. I think for spur of the moment, we did all right. Thank you for having content ready, because I did not. Yeah. All right. We'll call it an even. We'll end the live stream there, and we'll see everybody next week. Thank you.